Hello, gals and guys. It's your host, Phil Larson, and this is your motivational high five on balance. Let's do this. Welcome to this short podcast, straight to the point. We're just looking at different parts of life and really going through things together. You are more than welcome to email me at phil@thestoryshop.tv. Sometimes it takes a little bit for me to get back to people, and I'm really sorry about that, but I try to get back to everyone. But if I've missed you, well, that is nothing to take personally. That was just an oversight on my part. My email, I'm not great with email. My inbox gets pretty cluttered, and sometimes I just miss things, and I'm really sorry about that. So reach back out if you want. Another way to get a hold of me and to share your experience and thoughts about the podcast is through Twitter. My Twitter handle is Phil_Larson, or when you tweet about the podcast, use the hashtag YMH5, the number 5, YMH5, and I check that every once in a while as well. Would love to hear from you. A big life update for my wife and I, we adopted a son. I've alluded to it a little bit in previous episodes, but on March 12th, he was born, and we love him so much. He's so sweet. He's just such a great guy, and we've just had some really incredible bonding time since then. It's just been a whirlwind since, and we've loved every minute of it. With my son, one of the things that I find myself doing a lot is balancing his head. He hasn't yet developed any of the muscles to hold his head up, and so feeding him, moving him around, doing anything, you have to really take care of his head. Otherwise, it just wobbles everywhere. And it is during this time of weakness in his life that he is beginning to build muscles. And until he can achieve balance for his head, he has to go through this time of weakness. Lately in my life, I've experienced some time of weakness myself, and of this drastically shifting weight, like a baby's head. It's thrown me off a little bit. And when I get thrown off, the people who are closest to me, mainly my wife, gets thrown off, of course, as well. This shifting weight, kind of what I think about is if you've been blessed like me with two legs, we shift all our weight to one leg, we lose a little bit of balance, and one leg gets all the weight, the other leg loses some weight, or you shift your weight to the other way, or especially if you do it quickly, or you take your weight completely off one leg, we lose some balance. We have to hold the weight with both legs, and hang with me, this will make sense. If I dwell on my weakness alone, I do not redistribute my strengths. And if I refuse to see my weakness, I don't build any muscles for balance. It is in noticing the weaknesses and then focusing on incorporating my strengths that we find a stable center, that we find balance. And I'm going to do a little bit of reading out of a devotional called Nightlight by Amy E. Dean. And the devotional starts out with a quote by Ralph W. Sockman. And the quote is this: "There are parts of a ship which, taken by themselves, would sink. But when the parts of a ship are built together, they float. So it is with the events of my life. Some have been tragic, some have been happy. But when they are built together, they form a craft that floats and is going someplace. And I am comforted." And the rest of the devotional says this: "If we only remembered the unhappy times we've had, we'd sink into depression. Likewise, if we saw only happiness, we'd have a limited vision of our lives. When we take the good along with the bad, we see reality. When we strive for a balance of opposites, we move closer to maturity. When we accept that for every bad day there will be a good one, we accept life as it is. There is a saying, a ship in harbor is safe, but ships weren't built to stay in harbors. We captain our own ships. When we sail, we are taking risks. There will be calm sailing, but there will also be ferocious storms. We can weather anything with a supportive crew and a determined belief to guide us." I'm reminded of my episode 0, the quote that was used in there to kind of explain the podcast before launching. The quote was, "Smooth seas don't make good sailors." And I like the end of that devotional where it says we need a supportive crew to get on board and to help us through. We can't captain a ship and that's it. We don't have enough hands to do this right. We need supportive people in our lives. We need to do the work to let them in. Friends, seeking balance isn't easy. It takes some muscle building, and it takes some looking at the good and looking at the bad. It takes some harsh realities, and it takes some weights being shifted and you being thrown off a little bit. And if you're the one that is reason for the weight being thrown off, there's a little bit of ownership that you have to take. Me too. But it's okay. Try not to get stuck in the weaknesses. You determine if you want your boat to go somewhere. Do what you need to do to find the balance in your life. And that may mean rocking the boat a little bit. That may mean making some tough decisions that require a little extra work. That may mean asking for help. Those are good realizations to come to. Now keep going. You're not alone. And we've come to the end of our episode, and we choose to incorporate some voices in our life that both challenge us and inspire us, that seek balance of convicting us where we need to grow, and then choosing to accept those things to grow. And we do that by finding a reflection of ourselves in the mirror. And when you do that, will you say this positive thing to yourself? I can take the good with the bad to develop muscles and seek balance. Friends, you may not feel strong. Good. You're aware of your weaknesses. You're aware of your humanness. That's the first step in order to find the growth, find the area where you need to develop muscles. And that is an ongoing process. The moment we choose to numb out, to not see it, to ignore it, is the moment we stop developing those muscles. We need muscles to keep our head up, to keep our balance, to keep our feet on the ground. And you can do it. It starts with you.